how's it going, everyone? Justin again. As always, thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. So, Cool Tool Tuesday is over. No Jeff on Monday. No Jeff on Tuesday. He did drop off a flyer on Monday in his defense, but he came by so early that I was actually road testing a car, so we missed him, right? So I still haven't got a chance to talk to him to see what it is that we're going to do in order to keep the Cool Tool Tuesday / gear wrench truck discussion going furthermore on this channel. So let this week fly by, and then hopefully I'll catch him next week to discuss it further. Okay, we're going to go ahead and kick it off with today's discussion topic, but before we do, be a bud and grab some suds. You can do so by clicking on the little beer mug in the bottom right hand corner if you're not already subscribed to the channel. That makes you a subscriber, and being a subscriber is pretty awesome. Also, make sure to hit that notification bell down at the bottom, dong, right? Because that's going to notify you when I post my video next, whether it's mechanic insight, tool review, how-to video, or simply you just want to come hang out on TGIF. All right, so I did have a question from a fellow follower today on Instagram. Hey, bro, where's your office chair at? So I did have a chair. Well, actually, both of them are here now, but I had a chair at the independent shop. Was not for my use. I actually brought it there because occasionally our service writer and or manager would come out and they would pop themselves a squat while they were on the phone trying to P&A parts, things like that. I never personally used one because it develops what I believe is lazy mechanic syndrome. Look around the shop, okay? Everyone that has a chair, see if just periodically throughout the day, watch and see how long they actually spend in that chair, and you're going to notice that they spend a lot more time in that chair than they are actually performing work. So in my opinion, I believe having a chair in front of your toolbox develops laziness. Now, if you're actually there to do your job and turn hours, you're going to stand. You're going to stand just long enough in front of your toolbox to get your stories into the computer, submitted to parts, your service writer, your shop foreman, or whomever, and then move on and get to the next car. Pull that one out, pull the next one in. And in my opinion, I don't have time to sit there comfortably and try to develop a nice story, okay? I'm trying to develop the best story that I possibly can and as fast as I can. So those of you that are wanting to know how you can get better at typing, there are some programs on Google that you can do for 10 key that'll help you to where you're not finger pecking, okay? Finger pecking also takes forever. If you can get really good at 10 key, and there's no reason why you should be there for very long typing in your story. Your story is going to be a good chunk of your time too. So at the independent shop, I never had to develop stories. I didn't really even have to pay attention to the ROs. ROs would come in, okay, perform repair service. I give it back to them. I perform repair service, right? I do whatever they told me to do. And then when the car's done, I hand them the keys with the ending mileage, and that was it. They did everything else. They kept track of the in mileage, the out mileage. They kept track of the P&A. I didn't have to send a request in. I literally just told them what I needed, and it was done. At the dealership, it's more so on the mechanic, okay? You have to pay attention to everything. You have to pay attention to what it is that you're submitting. If they send it back to you and you got it, you have to make sure that you look to see if that note is for you or if it's for your service writer and who it's going to. If it's just staying there stagnant, you need to figure out why it's staying stagnant throughout the day. I'm not saying you need to follow that one every single day, but you should be looking at all the ROs that are assigned to you. Your goal should be to try to wipe them off of whatever chart that you have laid out so that way they're completed and you can move on and you don't have to focus on that one anymore. I'm also finding out that there are various people that I have to give said paperwork to when I am at a point where I'm on a standby. So if I'm waiting to find out if we're getting approval, paperwork has to go into somebody else's hands. So I have to remember that I'm not the one that hangs on to it. It goes into somebody else's hands, like the service writer. So there's a few things that I'm trying to, get back into my groove as far as, okay, this is who this goes to, this is who this goes to. All right, the final story part. So this is the part that I also have to relearn myself. I'm aware of the 3 C's, and then I remember I have to start typing that stuff in. Some of the things I didn't feel like were relevant were like telling them the 3 C's for a cabin air filter on a used car. But I understand what they mean. At least put it in there that I installed it so that way it shows that I installed it and I said I installed it. It's all about your story. So at the dealership, it's all about the story. Let's go on to the next topic portion of what it's like between the dealership and independent shop as far as your hours and how can you produce more at the independent shop, can you produce more at the dealership. I think given a various circumstance, depending on who your foreman is, who your dispatcher is, you can definitely make more hours at the dealership than you can the independent shop. All my hours at the independent shop were what I call hard hours, because the inspection stuff, that was all free. None of that counted. You don't get paid none of that for your time, okay? You're not getting paid to inspect the vehicle. You're hoping that maybe it's the upsell that they need, that the customer needs, gets sold, and then you get the labor for actually doing the repair. But the actual process of inspecting everything is unpaid. At the dealership, especially with the used car lineup, it is paid, and you're being compensated for that time frame. So now all the things that I typically would have inspected are not on a, maybe they decide to go with one of those. No, this is like one of those things where it's like, put it all in of everything that it needs, they're going to take care of it. So that was pretty cool. And as a result, I've been able to turn some hours, and I've been pretty excited about that. My curiosity is, can I beat my time from last year to this year at the dealer? So I'm going to wipe this out and try this. So last year, these are hard hours: cylinder heads, engine pulls, transmissions, a few small repairs like water pumps, right, belts, things like that. But look, I was at about 900 hours for the year at the independent shop. So if I divide that by 365, 2.46 hours per day. Okay, so let's just round it up to 2.5 per day times 7 is 17.5 hours. So on average per week, it was 17.5 hours. I can tell you that I've had that in 2 days of being over here at the dealership in the used car department so far. Food for thought, okay? So what I was able to do within a week, averagely, I'm doing in 2 days at the dealer, because they actually are paying you for the inspection side of it, and the upsells are actually there, and it's not a toss-up up to the customer. And because of the area that we're in, and I get it, it's not the independent shop's fault. A lot of the people that we have up here, they don't have a lot of money, so it's very, very difficult to get some of those upsells that they need for their car, because they just can't afford it. So you hope that they come back the following week or the week after. This being said, your productivity was never really valued or evaluated on a week to monthly basis. They was looked at, but they saw you working and they understood what you were working on. And to me, the way that I looked at it is I never focused on my hours so much as I did the job. I would look at the job and go, okay, well, this ticket pays, $4 grand. So if I can get this $4,000 ticket done between today and part of the morning tomorrow, the shop made $4 grand. So I was always looking at the tickets as a whole as far as the dollar value. Okay, so if I could make 10 grand 1 week, and then I saw that we made 20 for the whole week, I know that half the money that we made for the shop was the money that I did. So that's how I kind of gauged it. Or if I saw that I didn't get much done because I had a lot of parts hold, or waiting for LKQ to show up, or things didn't roll out until the week after, I'd look at it and go, okay, of the things that actually went home, maybe I only made 1,000 of that week, but then the following week it'd be like 20, right? Or something crazy like that. So I believe that there are more hours available for you to make, which means you can make more money at the dealership versus an independent shop. This is just from what I've seen so far. Another thing that I noticed, so as soon as I was asked, can I do this wiring repair, I'm thinking still independent shop. I was like, yeah, cool. I mean, tell me what wire you want me to splice into, where it goes to, where's the extra wire that I'm going to need so I can heat, shrink, solder, all this other stuff. And they brought me an entire harness. Oh, just a one-piece harness. And I was like, ha, dude, where have you been all my life? So I was like, boop, 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 boop. And so I popped it out. I think I was done in like 10 minutes, and they gave me an hour and a half. And I was like, cha-ching, right? So score. Bro, I know that warranty doesn't pay all the time, because there are some things warranty-wise, and they will say you only get like 0.2 or 0.3. You got to learn certain things at the dealership level once you've been turning a wrench long enough. I'm not going to call them shortcuts, but there are, it's like turning wrenches, nuts and bolts, right? On a car. If you was to follow the entire flow chart for taking something apart and putting it together, it would take you every bit of time that it called for and then some. Which is why I never really read all data. I never went to service information. I could literally look at the car and go, okay, this needs to come off, this needs to come off, this needs to come off. Very rarely would I be like, okay, I need a torque spec. So I'd be like, hey, can you pull up the torque spec? They would do so, I'd have it. bam, 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 I knew what things I needed to torque properly. I knew what things I could pretty much do by hand, because after 10 years, you can pretty much go by feel. For my new guys, I'd recommend you just torque everything until you actually get down to the point where you know how much is too much and how much is too little. Okay, so that'd be my takeaway from that. All right, so those are my reasons for not having a chair in front of my toolbox. And this is my opinion as far as where can you turn more hours at, a dealership or an independent shop. Now granted, there are some guys, what are you talking about, bro? I turn out X amount of hours on an independent shop. Cool. Maybe you live in a busier area. Maybe you live in an area where people have a little bit more money. But when you live in the middle of BFE and people ain't really got any money and it's all CP work, you ain't getting paid for those inspections, bro. You're just not. But at the dealership, if it's used car, baby, they're gonna take care of you. And that's what I can appreciate. So, I don't know. I did make the joke that maybe I'd invest in a pair of skates just so I can get to the cars a little bit faster. Because for me, when I'm vibing, man, and I'm on a roll, I'm on a roll. Unless it's killer important, I really don't like socializing or really talking too much. I kind of like rolling with it. Independent shop, I mean, there was like 1 or 2 cars per day. Lots of gaps, right? They don't have any, they want you to focus on the one job. There's really nothing else to pull in. Parts will be here any minute, and any minute could be anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes. So you spend most of your time cleaning the shop or putting stuff away, cracking a few jokes, this, that, and the other, which was very fun. Like I said, it's very fun, very family-oriented mentality, very relaxed and kicked back, but you didn't really feel the pressure or the rush of making sure that you're doing everything properly to make sure that it's ready, okay? Because these cars are coming in, and they need to be on the front lot to be sold. So you need to do thorough inspections, and there's so many of them, there's no reason why you couldn't fly. I mean, I had about 20 minutes left in the day. And I bet I probably could have got one more car done if they would have let me hang out for 1 more hour. But I was like, you know what? I've already done really well today. We're at a pretty good stopping point. Let's talk about some things that I need to correct and fix going into tomorrow. So that way I don't repeat certain mistakes. So I talked to my riders. They informed me what they wanted to see. Now I know what to do kind of going forward, trying to retrain myself. I haven't gotten my number back yet. When I do, I'll let you know as far as like how I feel about the more recent training. Obviously, I'm not gonna be able to show you any of it, but I'll let you know how things are virtually, you know, and where I'm at, because there is talk that I could potentially be back in my old levels. So that would be really cool. I don't have to start from scratch again, if that's a possibility. Anyway, I'm excited about it. Look, I want to do one more thing here before we go. I want to give Griff and his family some shout outs and some prayers. His dad is not doing well. So if you guys can find it in you to send some hearts / prayers over to our buddy Griff. Let's hope his dad does okay. Let's hope his dad pulls out of it. I guess he had to undergo some paddle work, and that's never easy for a family to see or observe. But hopefully his dad pulls through, pulls out of it, and does okay. And then hopefully we'll see Griff, you know, on Friday or whatever. But I'm just praying for him. Okay, so let's all just do that for him real quick. Doesn't cost you anything. It's free. Just in your spare time and your leisure before you go to bed, you know, throw some prayers out there for him. That's all I got. So we'll see you guys next time. Cheers and deuces.